college actually educates homeopaths quite differently from other trainings. It is about helping students to learn. So I would say it's student-centered learning. It's practical and applied, and you are learning as you go along how to analyze a case, not just find remedies to fix the patient, because the actual healer is the patient, and you need to understand why they got sick and why they're sitting in front of you in the first place. And if you don't understand that, you've got no business throwing remedies. So the homeopath learns to become the facilitator, and the patient is the healer. The college has been in operation for over 20 years, and it has changed quite a lot since I took over the college, because what I've done with the training is I took the ideas of practical applied homeopathy, and what I've done with it is I've given it structure. And so we are now accredited by BAC, the British Accreditation Council, to run online and blended learning. And this means that we have students from all over the world. We've had 10 graduates from Bulgaria. We've also had graduates in Swaziland and graduates in Botswana. And we have students who come from Japan. We have students in the United States, students in Europe. So it's actually worldwide. Well, there's a lot of advantages of studying at CPH. The biggest advantage is that you're learning 21st century homeopathy for 21st century patients. Other colleges are teaching you 19th century homeopathy for 19th century patients. So the advantage is, one, you're learning homeopathy for the present. You're starting to take cases straight away. You're learning to analyze your case straight away. And this is really, really important. Otherwise, if you don't do it and you get into the world and all you've learned is remedies to fix people, you're going to get lost, and you will find it very difficult because you won't understand the language of the body. And the language of the body is very important. What's really amazing about the training is that students are entering lifelong learning. We teach you how to apply information and understand the links. Once you get the basics of that, that is the beginning of graduates growing and exploring homeopathy and becoming the homeopaths they're meant to be. They graduate and they're running. By the time they get to their final level in their homeopathic training, most of our students are already seeing a lot of patients and are practicing. That's the difference. There's no point in doing a training which doesn't allow you to see patients until your final year, because if that's what happens, you're never going to make it as a practitioner. I actually think health is very, very simple. Once you grasp that the body is the healer, and you've got to give it what it needs, and what it needs is resources. It's got to have the building blocks to rebuild tissue. And so to me, the secret of health is synergistic. It encompasses good eating, it encompasses exercise, and it encompasses stillness of the mind. If you don't eat properly, then the mind is going to be all over the place. If you don't do exercises, you're going to be sluggish. Once you've actually made the lifestyle changes, then choosing a system of medicine that supports you to self-heal when you have a crisis. So really getting sick should more or less reflect where your crises are and where you lost your resources. So we've always done organ support and detoxes. Now, this is very, very important for students, especially with modern patients. You do need to know how to support organs that are not functioning properly. You need to understand how to detox your patient from heavy metals, from chemical toxicity. if you do that, if you're detoxing, you've got to have healthy organs to detox with. So you need to support people on multiple levels. With all of these ways of applying homeopathy must integrate to support your patient, because 21st century patients are not the same as 19th century patients. And I know this from experience. So actually, we've always used multiple methods like detox, organ supports, prophylactic prescribing, etc. It's just that now it's much more structured and it's in a way that's user-friendly for the students. I think that it's actually very important for students to know nutrition and herbs, and actually flower essences as well, because you're looking at an integrated healing system. Learning homeopathy on its own for 21st century patients, you won't get the results you want, because modern patients need lots of support. So the foundation to health is nutrition. If that isn't right, you're not going to get the patients to heal, because in order to heal, the body needs resources. Herbs come at a slightly higher, different level from nutrition, because they've got phytonutrients, they've got phytochemicals and hormones that support the body in its healing process. So I feel that they're very, very important. And then, of course, you've got flower essences, which actually deals with the mind, where patients can be stuck mentally and emotionally. So you need to have quite a few tools in your toolbox, because you want to be a healer. You want to be a facilitator to health. Now, most people learn whatever paradigm they're learning in health, they learn it from an allopathic perspective, which is fix the symptoms without understanding what those symptoms are. Most people never learn the language of the body. Now, this is really important. You need to understand this language, because when the body does symptoms, it's communicating to you, the practitioner. If you don't know how to listen and interpret those symptoms, then you're not going to be able to communicate back to the patient how to get better. And you won't know where to use your remedies and in what place is the best place for healing. You know, many people come to see me and they'll say, well, yeah, I went to see a homeopath in the past and my symptoms got worse. In fact, I got sicker. And I go, yes. That's because they gave you a well-indicated remedy. They were asking you to heal, but you didn't have the resources to do that healing. Now, as a student, isn't it better to learn all of this whilst you're training, getting the experience and actually seeing clearly where it is you need to start and what are the best tools to use to support your patients? Because you don't have to aggravate the patients. You can support them to absorb their nutrition. You can support them by using herbs that will actually nourish key organs in the body. Homeopathy is the king of kings. It stimulates that healing process.